What's going on, McLean County? This is Ursula Crooks here to give you information about what we have going on here and around the Bloomington Normal community. I have family in the studio with me today. I am talking with Lorraine Muhammad, and it just feels weird to be sitting here talking with mics in our face, but we have to present ourselves in a different light. So we've already given ourselves the hugs and the kisses and talked about the kids.
That's right.
But Lorraine is coming to us today. As you know, she is the author of the book 588 Days, Balancing Act of Faith, Family, and Finding Time for It All, where Lorraine talks about her weight loss journey. She has now moved to motivational speaker and just someone who is there to support you, a personal coach of sorts through Realize the Power of You. Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank you for having me.
So where do we start? We're going to start, I'll tell you where we start.
Okay.
You came in here a couple years ago, and we talked about the whole 588 days. Why don't you refresh our memory about what that was?
Sure. The 588 days was I'll call it the phase one of my journey, and that was around my weight loss. At the time, I started about 204 pounds and ended up in 588 days getting down to my goal of 140 pounds. And although it was about weight loss, there was so much more to that story, which has actually helped me lead to where I am today. And I just wanted to share that with others because I know so many people struggle with weight and struggle with trying to find time for themselves, finding time to dedicate to weight loss. And that was my gift, I guess, to people to say, hey, you can do it too, no matter what you have going on, you're obligated to, that you have to find time for yourself and your health is dependent upon it.
Now, of course, you established a website and a Facebook page, so there's another opportunity for people to kind of see that phase one part of you. But now we go into Realize the Power of You. And as I went onto the site, there was something that you mentioned that really struck me. You talked about coming from a place of lack.
Yes. And so that coming from a place of lack is, although I might have appeared very professional on the outside and confident, there were points in time in that phase and even before where there was a lack of confidence. There was a lack of self-esteem. I thought about the different things I felt were missing in my life, and unfortunately I let them overcome me in some instances, and my health was an obvious result of that. Now, it may not have been obvious to others, but it was very obvious to me. And so I know that I'm not the only one who's gone through such things, but in our community we tend to silence that side of us and don't want people to know that we're not perfect and that we have some issues, and those issues may come out in a variety of forms, and for me it was weight.
Well, again, knowing you as a sister as I do, but I do appreciate the fact of you being willing to share your experience and just being so transparent, because just as you said, people never stop to think or recognize or even come to the realization that there are times where you do feel weak or you do feel different or you don't feel confident, and not finding it to be a position of strength to be willing to talk about it. Exactly. As opposed to hide it. I like that. Exactly. In you. So we are at Realize the Power of You. So you talked about phase one, so I guess we are now at phase two. What was your inspiration to do this?
My inspiration was probably several things, but once I hit my goals and reacquainted myself with myself, I realized that there was a whole lot that I could do, and that probably in the past I was suppressing some of the gifts that I know I've been blessed with, and either didn't have the avenues to do something with them or didn't recognize them in myself. And so Realize the Power of You means so many things, but part of it is realizing that within us we have so much. We are blessed. We have a lot of gifts and talents that we often don't tap into. And in some cases, we suppress those. And we don't realize that within us, we are very powerful individuals. We are very strong, smart, intelligent, wise individuals. And if we put our minds and hearts to it, there's so much that we can do. But again, for various reasons, sometimes those don't always come to fruition.
Now, a statement that you make on your website, again, in terms of realizing the power of you, is make the next version of you the best version of you.
Yes.
Describe that statement. What does that mean?
So it could mean so many things, but for me, what it means is that we're often trying to improve ourselves. We're often realizing that we're not perfect and that we have opportunities for improvement, whether we act upon them or not. So what that statement is, take your heels, dig in, make that next version of you, that improvement, the best version of yourself. Don't settle for just being mediocre, but work on whatever goals that you have and realize that power, again, realizing that power of you is in you. So as you're working toward those goals, make that next version of you that best version of you.
So realize the power of you is an opportunity. You talk about using your gifts.
Yes.
What are you offering people?
What I'm offering is a listening ear, coaching, sharing my experiences as I did in the book, because I, again, realized that I'm not the only one going through things. And oftentimes we don't talk about the things that are really deep within us and the things that are bothering. We may talk about what's going on in the street or at work or at the beauty salon, but when you really get down to the core of who you are and what makes a person, we don't get to that point. And so what I'm offering is that opportunity, that listening ear, that opportunity to share my experiences with people either through my newsletter or consultation, because I'm willing to sit with a person one-on-one. It doesn't have to be in a crowd, but I want to sit with an individual and say, let's get down to what's going on with you. Let's customize a plan that's going on with you so I can help you work towards your goals and maybe help remove any roadblocks that I can to help you get towards your goal. Because I'm all about being that cheerleader and being that support system, because if I didn't have that support system, I know I probably would not have been able to do some of the things that I was able to accomplish.
Now you touch on something that is very interesting, the idea of, I'm going to call it life coaching, which is somewhat of a new concept for today's environment.
Yes.
And this is something that you are using as a gift. What makes you qualified to do this?
I believe what makes me qualified is I've gone through it. I'm not someone who can just give concepts, but I've walked a lot of the things that I'm talking. I've walked a lot of the steps that I know other people want to walk. And if there's in any way I can help my experiences help another person, then that's what I want to do. Because again, I didn't get here by myself. And if it wasn't for people who gave me their support and love and that push, then I know for sure that I would not have been able to accomplish what I did. So I want to give that back to other people.
Okay, all right. So how can people get more information about what you do?
Well, they can go to my website, which is called realizethepowerofyou.com, all one word. And they can go on that site and see a variety of things. They can see a gallery of my before and after. And so for some people, they need that visual. I can talk about the weight loss, but until you see it, sometimes you need that visual. So there's pictures on there. There's information. I even have a newsletter that I'm going to give to those who subscribe on the website every month. And that newsletter will give information, hints and tips, things that my goal is to help individuals have a little bit of information each month that will help them get through whatever they're going through. Then I also have some apparel, and that apparel has, as you mentioned, that the logo, make the next version of you the best version of you. And also on the back it says, this is your season of change. And it's not just about a t-shirt, but it's about that constant reminder, that constant reinforcement that, sometimes you may have a bad day, and maybe when you put on that shirt or someone else sees that shirt, they'll think about, you know what, it is that time for me to make that next version of me the best version of me.
Bloomington Normal, I am talking with my sister, Lorraine Muhammad, the author of the book, 588 Days, Balancing Act of Faith, Family, and Finding Time for It All, now presenting to the community, Realize the Power of You. As Lorraine indicated, this is phase 2 of her journey and wanting to be able to offer her experiences, her learnings, and to support anyone who wants to take advantage of what she wants to be able to do. She offers motivation and inspiration, programs and workshops, coaching, personal consultation. As she talked about, she has resources, items, things that will promote the message of making the next version of you the best version of you. Her website is realizethepowerofyou, all one word.com. There is a mailing address, for the Family Productions, P.O. Box 877 in Bloomington 61702. You can call Lorraine at 309-531-0032, or you can email Lorraine at realizethepowerofyou.com. What else do you want to leave the community with?
I want to leave the community with this message. Never underestimate yourself. Never doubt yourself, or at least don't do it very often, but realize that within you is so much more, and oftentimes you just have to take a leap of faith and do it, and not look back, but just do it.
Lorraine, thank you very much again.
Thank you.
It's so nice to talk with you because you have so much passion about what it is that you do. And of course I know that. So I hope that something we've said has touched someone, and that they will be inspired to come to you and connect with you.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
And if you are a member of an organization or an individual and you have an activity, an event, an issue, or an idea you would like to present to the Bloomington Normal community, contact us here at the WXRJ studios at 309-662-4198. This is Ursula Crooks with What's Going On in McLean County, WXRJ 94.9 FM, Real Radio.